I think it's safe to say that we all got spooked last week when news came out about an asteroid that might hit Earth in just over 7 years. Asteroid 2024 YR4 was first sighted by astronomers on October, and for a time its orbit had a very concerning overlap with Earth's path around the Sun. This meant that there was at least some non-zero chance that the asteroid would collide with our planet sometime fairly soon. The European Space Agency calculated that this particular rock has a roughly 1 in 1,000 chance of hitting us by 2032. And because that chance is non-zero, that means that if you lived through 2022, you were not safe in 2023 either. But fortunately, we now have some new data that makes the asteroid's future trajectory much clearer, and it looks like you should be able to sleep soundly tonight. So here's the deal. It turns out that the actual risk from this asteroid was always going to be low. Even though its orbit takes it close to Earth every year, it only gets so close to Earth that it passes between the Sun and our planet, which happens all the time. Most asteroids get close enough to Earth that they pass in front of the Sun from our perspective at some point in their orbit. That doesn't mean they actually hit Earth, or even enter Earth's atmosphere. They just happen to be in the same part of the sky as the Sun at some point in their orbit. So that means we see them pass in front of the Sun, which is why so many asteroids are called Aten asteroids after the first one cataloged, 2003 A1, that had this orbit type. Okay, so back to the newly discovered asteroid 2024 YR4. When it was first discovered, it was only seen for a couple of days before it disappeared below the horizon again. When you don't know exactly where an object is in the sky, you can calculate a range of possible orbits that it could have based on its known position and speed. That range is what astronomers refer to as a confidence cone. You basically take into account the asteroid's current position and velocity and propagate that forward in time to see where it would go. If it continues on that trajectory, the size of the confidence cone tells you how much uncertainty there is in knowing the asteroid's path. The wider the cone, the less certain we are about the asteroid's future location. It turned out that for 2024 YR4, the confidence cone for its orbit included a region that would bring it dangerously close to Earth in 2032. So that got everyone's hopes up that maybe we had found an asteroid that could be a candidate for planetary defense. Unfortunately, that also meant that a lot of people thought that it might actually hit Earth. But it's important to remember that this was still just a range of possibilities, and we didn't have any solid information about the asteroid's actual trajectory yet. More observations would be needed to narrow down the range of possible paths. The good news is that the asteroid passed in front of the Sun again recently, which allowed astronomers to make new observations of the rock and confirm its trajectory. And according to those new observations, we should all be pretty safe come 2032. Researchers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory wrote on Twitter that the asteroid will have a close approach to Earth in 2032, but after that, it will take an entirely different orbit that avoids Earth. Basically, while the asteroid does get as close as Jupiter at one point, it then swings out beyond Mars, which means that it won't be passing anywhere near Earth anytime soon. This probably isn't the last time we'll hear about 2024 YR4, though. Once it passes Jupiter, the gravity of the gas giant will pull on the asteroid and alter its path around the Sun. That means that after 2032, the asteroid will settle into a new orbit that could cross Earth's path again in the future. According to JPL researchers, astronomers expect to re-examine the asteroid again in 2028 to see if it's still following this trajectory that avoids Earth. And if it does, we can feel free to stop worrying about it for a few years. I know space rocks aren't most people's idea of fun, but do us all a favor and consider subscribing to our channel so we can help you keep up to date on all things cosmos. In 2022 alone, more than 30,000 near-Earth asteroids were identified. Near-Earth asteroids are ones whose orbit brings them within 4.9 million miles, or 8 million kilometers of Earth's orbit. NASA keeps track of these objects as they move through space to see if any pose a threat of hitting our planet. As of right now, they have identified 27,636 near-Earth asteroids. Of those, 10,259 are potentially hazardous. Potentially hazardous asteroids are ones that are at least 500 feet or 140 meters in size and come within 4.6 million miles or 7.4 million kilometers of Earth's orbit. But while all these numbers may sound scary, it's important to remember that astronomers have been discovering asteroids for centuries, and none of them have ever hit Earth. So far. There have been tons of opportunities for an asteroid to end life as we know it, but it never has. So the chances of it happening in the next 100 years are probably quite low. Still, that hasn't stopped people from wondering what would happen if an asteroid did hit Earth. A new study published in the journal Scientific Reports has tried to answer this question by looking at the results of past asteroid impacts. The scientists behind the study wrote that since the 6 mile per second or 10 kilometer per second impact speed of most asteroid collisions is unlikely to change, analyzing past impacts gives us a good idea of what's to come. To assess the severity of an asteroid impact, scientists usually look at the energy released by the explosion of the asteroid upon impact with Earth's surface. For instance, the Chelyabinsk meteor that exploded over Russia in 2013 had an energy release of about 300 kilotons of TNT. In comparison, the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima during World War II had an energy release of just 62 kilotons of TNT. That's why even though the Chelyabinsk meteor was much smaller than the atomic bomb, it caused significantly more damage. Based on this metric, the authors of the new paper looked at the damage done by 5 meteorite airburst events and 4 impact events that have occurred on Earth in the past 100 years. They took into account factors such as population density, economic stability, and industrialization to understand how well different regions of the world could recover from an asteroid impact of similar size. Using this analysis, the researchers then calculated the probability of human extinction resulting from an asteroid impact. And they found that while an asteroid impact would certainly cause widespread devastation, it wouldn't likely result in the extinction of humanity. While the paper focuses on the asteroid impacts that have occurred over the past 100 years, the authors acknowledge that larger asteroids have impacted Earth in the past, such as the one that wiped out the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. They simply focused on recent history to better model the recovery time of modern society. The paper concludes that while large asteroid impacts will continue to pose risks to human civilization, the probability of human extinction is expected to remain low unless global governance structures fail. So even though your life would definitely be difficult if an asteroid hit Earth tomorrow, you probably wouldn't need to start stockpiling canned beans and toilet paper quite yet. Did this asteroid scare you? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe.